What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. So today I wanted to give you guys my first impressions on the update balance patch and address some things because I feel like this is a huge opportunity missed by the developers for Marvel Future Revolution across the board. I think there's going to be some things that people are happy about, but I think the large majority of people are going to be unhappy. If you are a Iron Man player, Star-Lord player, you may be happy. If you're not Black Widow, if you're a Storm player, then you may be happy a little bit with the changes to some of the skill effects. But overall, I think this update was a huge waste of time. And let me explain why. So, having played some Dimension duels for the first amount of time, the largest thing that most players, I think, would agree was something that needed to be balanced was the ability for Captain Marvel and Spider-Man both to be nerfed a little bit because they were able to remain invincible throughout battles for a large majority segment of the time. What I mean by that is you basically have your 3 dodge skills, and these skills essentially all render you invincible, and those characters have ways to rebuild up that dodge gauge meter, so that would basically give them more time to have invincibility up. Now, the reason why those are so detrimental is because when you basically face off, especially against Spider-Man, you basically end up seeing this effect that he has where it's like, hey, I'm not able to hit this dude at all. He's either hitting his dodge ability out of here or he's getting invincibility frames out of here. Either way, I'm not being able to touch him. So the way that I would imagine it to come out with a 10-second cooldown now being put on those skills that recover is that would matter a little bit more, but it doesn't seem to matter at all. Basically what you end up with now is about a 2 to 3 second window where the character is targetable. You figure out when that 2 to 3 seconds is and hope that your skills are up while he's not in that motion of being invincible. It just doesn't pan out the way that you would want it to pan out. That's the truth of the matter, right? So that's the number one thing. I don't know how it plays against Captain Marvel because I haven't really faced off on many of her inside of the game for Dimension duels, so I don't know. I have to see how that is, but like I said, this is a first impression. The second thing is the balance adjustments to target off skills or iframe skills that certain characters has. So when the dev note first went out, the main intent was to balance these skills, meaning that they were going to give some characters some of these skills while they were going to balance how those skills were being affected on other characters. Well, and they said it took a while for them to figure this out. You basically gave 2 characters target iframe skills now. Captain America and Star-Lord got, iframe skills now, and then the other characters receive some kind of cooldown increase and some kind of but the cooldown increase came with a slight power modifier to it, so they also came with some kind of attack increase as well for those skills that had target off. So you didn't really balance them out because now a player just has to wait, and they're going to get to do just a little bit more damage on them, so they have to wait a little bit to use them, but whatever. So that's the main key point of this. Now, the biggest thing that I want to address is the missed opportunity here for the development team to actually communicate with the players. So at this point, we've had maybe 2 chilling with Danny Koo sessions. We've had maybe 2 MFF or Marvel Future Revolution streams with like Agent Kim and Agent K or M or whatever his name. I can't remember what his name was, right? But we've had those streams. This is a huge opportunity missed, right? Because the game doesn't include any kind of damage lab, so you can't test your skills against some kind of target dummy. There's no game lab for you to take the players in to test out the changes at all. So you really don't know overall, right? You really have no clue. And that's part of the problem, is not having a clue in terms of what is the character's actual changes before and what are the changes after, because that's essentially what we're trying to get to, right? Is you want to be able to see who's being changed, how they're being changed, and what those changes actually might look like across the board. Right now, we don't really have a way to actually determine that other than through our own innate testing. We don't have developer words to say, hey, you know, Eldritch Sword, Vishanti's Sacred Sword, the casting motion and speed have been changed a little bit. How have they been changed? You know, is it a second quicker? Is it 0.25 seconds quicker? Is it 2 seconds quicker? We don't know, because there's no actual comparison's sake. Like I am in the process of going back into my previous videos to take a look at some of the skill animations for Doctor Strange to see if, like, I never cast Vishanti's Sacred Sword, so to try to see, like, are those abilities being applied across the board in terms of how they say they are. But it's a skill that I'm not going to use anyway, so like I have very little motivation to do it. Now, that's also saying that even in his normal skill rotation, I'm not seeing very much differences at all, like not anything significant. So the main thing coming across that I want to jump into lastly is talking about the disappointments. And I think the disappointments is that there's not enough done, or nothing really was done at all. And so what that I mean is that one of the biggest issues that we address with Doctor Strange is his lack of access to stats that other players have, so that way he's on an equal playing field with those characters. Well, you didn't do anything inside Omega cards, you didn't do anything inside uniforms for any of the characters to be balanced in that way, meaning that, you know, you still have a whole ton of players who have access to defense pierce on Omega cards. You didn't address those. You still have a whole ton of characters that have access to defense pierce, crit rate, crit damage on uniforms. You did nothing to balance those, while Doctor Strange is still dealing with two stats that mean nothing: HP and defense, right? So cool, granted. Now the worst thing about it is the one place that you could have addressed it, right, is inside his potential. We basically got nerfed on our skills. And yes, we got nerfed. We did. Doctor Strange players were literally nerfed. You stated, the development team stated inside their dev notes, inside their patch notes, that Doctor Strange was meant to be a cooldown reduction kind of character, meaning that he relied on having low cooldown times. But you went and took away the cooldown reduction in the very same patch inside his potential. So Focus 3 is now no longer going to be cooldown decrease at 4.14%. It is now crit rate at 5.53. For the life of me, I cannot understand why Spell Enhancement 1 was not just changed to crit rate, and the Focus number 3 remained at cooldown decrease. That would have just made sense. It would have made probably too much sense, I guess. I don't get it. I don't understand it. So the problem with this is, what difference does it make to increase my crit rate if I can't hit a target? If I can't break through their defense? The whole point and the whole complaints about not having access to defense pierce is that if I'm not hitting a player, then I don't have the ability to crit rate or crit damage. So having access to something where you're saying, I'm going to have a critical damage increase of 230, I'm waiting to be able to hit a character. Doctor Strange does not have access to his cards to say this. He basically has access to his cards where he's getting ultimate gauge recovery, and you're like, the only character in this game at current that relies on ultimate gauge recovery is Magic. Doctor Strange does not rely on ultimate gauge recovery. His ultimate gauge is weaker than two of his other skills that most players use in the game: Seven Rings of Ragador and gateway summoning, gateway launch. It's weaker than those things. So why are you not addressing those things? Like, we missed a huge opportunity where Danny Koo could have literally came on board and been like, hey, you know what? These are going to be the differences. This is the dev's perspective in their own words, not inside of, you know, a marketing forum post, but in their own words explain, you know, this is the before and this is the after, this is why we're making these changes, because we feel like these are here. So this is a huge opportunity missed, a huge opportunity missed, entirely missed. I don't really understand their point of it all, because it just feels very lackluster. It just feels very half-baked. It doesn't even feel half-baked, to be honest with you. It feels even worse than that. The fact that none of the characters really got any, like, literally, the only two characters that got a target, an iframe skill, was literally Captain America and then Star-Lord. Like, where did Doctor Strange get his iframe? Why does he not have an iframe on Gateway Launch? Why does he not have an iframe on Bladed Defense? Like, and the worst part about the treatment to certain characters, especially like Doctor Strange, is you addressed a whole bunch of skills for skills that nobody uses. Like, these skills aren't used in any shape. Like, I mean, if I go into my skill list here for Doctor Strange and I was to take a look at, you know, the skills in the 7 Rings of Ragador, nobody's using Magic Explosion. 7 Rings of Repulsion is a primary skill. Nobody's using Magic Explosion. Nobody's using any of the other 2 skills. They're not worth using. Nobody's using Vishanti's Sacred Sword. Like, nobody is using this skill, Vishanti's Sacred Sword, over Tal Mandala's. Nobody. So nobody is going to use Bladed Defense. Like, yes, is a damage decrease buff good? Sure, it is. But is it going to be worth it to use this skill over an attack skill in the game? No, it's not, because I basically have a skill that you could remove the damage from at this point, because summons a sword near himself and spins it fast to deal 1000% damage to enemies. Decreases damage received while active. Okay, this is going to be a very situational skill that could be applied in Alliance Omega War, where things are just completely run amok. But if you have no interest inside of Omega War or Alliance Mega War, then this is not going to be a skill that you're literally thinking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be something that I'm like, yeah, why are you giving a character that literally is a glass cannon the ability to run and receive 15% damage off? This is the same equivalency of having status effect accuracy inside of a skill tree, where nobody cares about status effect accuracy because we don't have targets that are going to build up status effects on them long enough before they're killed. So I just said that like freaking Forged in Fire. We don't have characters that are going to have enough build up for status effect accuracy before they're dead. It's just not happening. Why do we have this? It just doesn't make sense. It goes against the nature of how I'm going to play the character. You want me to rush my Doctor Strange into the heart of battle so that way he can cast Bladed Defense, receive a 15%, so he might stay alive for a second longer, inside here to do 1000% damage to surrounding enemies. Come on, for real. It's a crowd AoE effect skill that I really have to be close for, but it's literally applicable in one area of the game, Alliance Omega War or Omega War, and I can't really see using this in there, not even with the increased damage decreased damage received inside there. So I don't understand it. Not to mention arbitrarily putting in stats like 8-second cooldowns and 10-second cooldowns when they really don't mean anything. Like for Spider-Man, for instance, where you have that. Why did you do that? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about before we leave, because I'm still testing out the damage patch inside here, the damage lab, so we'll get to seeing that, is literally the costumes are Hydra Empire and Dark Domain are pretty much on sale this week. Yeah, so those characters are, oh Jesus, my man was eating him for brunch. I needed that character. So Dark Domain and inside the costume shop, there's a draw chance increase right now for the Hydra Empire and Dark Domain. to be honest with you, there should be no reason whatsoever that you're going for Dark Domain. It has attack, defense, and illusion magic class skill level 6. This is not worth it. And then we've got Hydra Empire. This one has attack, defense, and mystic arts class skill. You definitely want your mystic arts class skills in here. The only other uniform that would be of benefit to you to have outside of the Hydra Empire for Doctor Strange realistically would be like steampunk. Yeah, I think it's steampunk. Let me see, where's that uniform in here at? If we could take a look at steampunk, really, steampunk is probably the only other skill that you want, because it's going to basically give his mystic arts class skill level +6, and then 7 rings of Ragador. That class is already a mystic arts class skill in and of itself, so it's going to boost that skill by 12, I believe it is. So like if we go inside here and we were to look at, I do not want to fight War Machine, like yeah, whatever. I'm not fighting that dude. You know, this is the funny thing about the game. This is things that they should be addressing as well, but that they're not going to address. Most people don't even fight freaking War Machine or Dormammu anymore. They take so long to fight, and it's just a pain in the ass to fight those characters, especially once you complete the the actual events for those characters. It makes no sense to do those. So let's jump in here, because I want to do some polls on those uniforms to see if I can get those. But I wanted to point out to you really quickly the skills so you can see that. But 7 Rings of Ragador right here is a mystic arts class, especially for Ring of Repulsion. So getting the steampunk costume is actually beneficial to you, because you'll get that at a +12 instead of a +6. So your mystic arts class skills will get, you know, the +6, then the 7 Rings of Ragador will get a +6. So you'll get a +12 on Ring of Repulsion. Now, I would love to see some actual damage calculations to see what that +6 and what that +12 means, because, you know, at this point, we don't know. This is the truth of the matter. So let's get in here and let's do these polls while I fight my man in the background. Now, I've got quite a few polls in here to do for costumes, so let's see what happens. I don't think that I'll get anything, like, even though these draw chances say that they've been increased up, none of them are actually increased. We didn't see Baby Groot there. We don't see Baby Groot there. We don't see Baby Groot there. So we know overall, trash. So now we finally see Baby Groot. So that means we might get a 4-star costume. We should get at least a 4-star costume, because Baby Groot showed his ass, right? Finally at the end, but not in the beginning. So let's see. Yeah, so we ended up with 4-star costumes, and okay, we got 2 Dark Domain boots inside here at 3-star. We got the Secret War, and we got the Space Cloak boots inside here. Okay, so let's do another one, see what we get. I wouldn't mind trying out a steampunk build if it wasn't going to be so hard to nano steampunk outfit, which brings up another problem with the game in general, is that basically investing in a steampunk costume, there's no real reason for me to do it, because I'm not going to see that to fruition. You know what I mean? It's something I would have to do as an alternative to using the character. So we got blue pants, and okay, so we got a Hydra Empire cloak, we got God of Magic and blue pants boots. Okay, so I can't use this one for anything but to level up, because it's got the dreaded status effect accuracy on it and critical damage. That's not going to do anything for me, so we won't be replacing that. It'll be good for Nano Fusion, but like you guys know, the other problem with Nano Fusion is how long it takes to level up a costume inside here. You're literally, you're talking ad nauseum. It's ridiculous the amount that you would realistically need in this game in order to do that. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but we got Baby Groot again. Let's see what we get here. Ugh. The worst thing that I hate seeing, is these right here. So we got the Marvel in-game gloves. These are pretty much 100% trash. Basic attack skill level. Ugh. So we did get Sakaar pants with crit rate, attack, and accuracy rate. Those are actually good pants. Unfortunately for Sakaar, the Touch of Ashanti class skills are what you're using there. not really my thing. So there you go. So we've got 4 rolls from there. We basically got 1 Hydra Empire. I need to pull some of these for yay, Maestro's been defeated. Hopefully I got the 1 slot. I don't think so though. Let's see if we get Baby Groot. No Baby Groot, so nothing in the box. What's in the box? We'll skip that. Always hate to see this. So 5 of the rewards are basically ores. We don't really need those at all. Let's see if we see Baby Groot over here. Yay, Baby Groot showed up. So what are we gonna get from this box now? Let's see. What's Baby Groot gonna give me? So he gave me 2 5s. Ooh, nice. So he gave me a core frenzy, and it was defense pierce. Nice. Thank you, Baby Groot. Thank you so much, Baby Groot. And we got some Fury's classified data, so those are really big winners from there overall. Now I do want to do they always trying to sell you some shit. New Year's 22 ticket offers. Get a 22 draw ticket selection box for $8.99. And to be honest with you, this is actually probably worth it because you can get a draw ticket selection box. That's basically like 4,000 crystals that you're basically utilizing, or 3,600 crystals rather, for $9. So that one's actually not that bad if I'm being honest with you guys. We'll claim all these dimension rewards inside here for Omega points. And then there's something I wanted to do with you guys, the last thing that I want to show you. Let's make sure my inventory is not too jam-packed, but we need to go back to the headquarters in order to do this and take a look at the workshop. So when they did the costume improvements, I did the workshop and I basically put in for 100 uniforms. I wanted to see what the bonus rates up were, so that way I could, you know, kind of figure out if the bonus rates were actually done. So that took, you know, 8 days to complete, and we've got 100 Imperial costume combat uniform we got 100 of the Hydra Empire boxes. There's the low chance of receiving, so let's see how many of these actually are received on 100 uniforms. So Secret Wars, nothing there. God of Magic, Blue Pants, Secret Wars, Ornate, Spacesuit Cloaks, Defenders, 16-0 boots. Yeah, okay, so we got 1 Hydra Empire pants inside here. 1 Hydra Empire pants inside here, so 1. We got a Hydra Empire gloves here as well, so 2. So we got 2. So out of this whole 100 pull for this, we basically got 2 out of 100. That's terrible. 2 out of 100 is basically what we got to get those regional set pieces. I'm not going to complain because each of those regional set pieces basically equates to me leveling up the characters in nano fusion stages. The bad part is that it takes so long in order to level up something from 1 to 10. I don't even want to count the number of 2 stars. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 2 stars out of 100, and then 1, let's see, 2, 3. So we got 2 actual region set pieces, 3 actual 3-star pieces, and then 8 2-star pieces out of the whole set. But obviously the thing that we were looking for the most was that. So I hope I better have completed the Hydra Empire set. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video for this. Hopefully, you know, my big hope is that they understand that changes need to be made and that they reflect on those changes, because the current balance patch that we got isn't a balance patch at all. It's just really more of the same. They didn't address anything that actually needed to be addressed. Addressing things would have been going in to say, I'm going to change the things that players are actually using and talking about. Players have, for instance, been continually talking about Doctor Strange's lack of access to stats that other characters have, without doing a balance across the board and realizing that you have given stats to other characters that certain characters don't have access to, especially those stats that are crucial to character development. You've essentially harmed the characters and created an imbalance. That's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, peace.